Maria Montessori, From Doctor to Educational Innovator. Maria Montessori is one of the most influential educational pioneers of the last century. Through scientific observation and experimentation, she developed a transformative approach to education that has impacted millions of children across the world. More than 100 years after Maria Montessori founded the Montessori method, there are more than 20,000 Montessori schools worldwide, demonstrating the relevance of Montessori education today. Maria Montessori was born in Chaville, Italy on August 31, 1870, into a middle-class family who believed strongly in her education. Her father worked in the Italian Ministry of Finance, and her mother was raised in a wealthy family. From a young age, Maria Montessori began breaking barriers. When she was 14 years old, she entered an all-boys engineering school, which helped her develop her love for math and science. Always a bright and conscientious student, Maria Montessori went on to graduate from Sapienza University in Rome with high honors in 1896, making her the first woman in Italy to graduate with a degree in medicine. Montessori then conducted her research at the Orthophonic School for Developmentally Disabled Children in the early 1900s. Greatly influenced by her experience at the Orthophonic School, Montessori designed Casa dei Bambini for children living in the San Lorenzo housing tenements, which launched in January 1907. Montessori was influenced by a number of educational and scientific leaders, including French doctor Edward Séguier, who established his own special needs school, Jean Itard, another French doctor who developed a student-centered approach that emphasized the individual child, Friedrich Froebel, the German educator who founded kindergarten, and Johann Pestalozzi, a Swiss educational reformer who believed that children learn best through hands-on activity. Ultimately, Maria Montessori's educational and medical training inspired her to create her own unique educational method and interactive learning approach based off her scientific observations at the Orthophonic School in Casa dei Bambini. Until the mid-1800s, typically only children from wealthy families were able to attend school. By the mid-19th century, progressive educators like Horace Mann began to promote universal public education in the United States through the Common School movement. Building on a growing commitment to public education, Maria Montessori created a scientific pedagogy focused on educating low-income children with learning differences. That was so successful, she broadened her method and applied it to educating all students. Montessori was an ambitious, talented young doctor and educator. Her innovative educational approach quickly spread from Italy across the world. By 1911, public schools in Italy and Switzerland had officially adopted Montessori education. A year later, Montessori schools launched in Western Europe, the United States of America, Asia, Australia, and South America. The first Montessori international training course for educators started in 1913. The rise of progressive education in the United States set the stage for Montessori's advocates to promote her methods in the U.S. In 1913, the Montessori Educational Association was formed by American Montessori advocates who typically supported progressive causes. The association included prominent female figures leading the cause. Mrs. Alexander Graham Bell was the president of the association. Other members included Margaret Wilson, daughter of President Woodrow Wilson, Philander Claxton, U.S. Commissioner of Education, Dorothy Canfield Fisher, a well-known author on education, and Samuel McClure, a widely read publisher for the McClure's magazine. After 1915, Montessori education expanded around the world with Montessori schools and societies established across Europe, Asia, North America, and Australia. In 1922, Maria Montessori was appointed Inspector of Schools by the Italian government. In 1929, Denmark hosted its first International Montessori Congress, at which Montessori's son, Mario, founded the association Montessori Internationale to oversee Montessori activity and teacher trainings. In 1931, Montessori was Times Magazine's Person of the Year. Between 1939 and 1946, Montessori lived in India, where she further developed her method and materials, which were captured in two books, Education for a New World and To Educate the Human Potential. Montessori returned to Amsterdam in 1946 while continuing to travel through Europe and Asia, giving lectures and teacher trainings. She was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1949, 1950, and 1951. In 1952, Maria Montessori passed away at the age of 81. Montessori's legacy lives on through thousands of Montessori schools in the United States and across the world, including a public Montessori school in our own city, New Haven, Connecticut. Montessori education is a child-centered learning approach that emphasizes the development of children's internal motivation and natural abilities. Montessori envisioned 4 distinct planes of children's development: infancy, birth to age 6, childhood, ages 6 to 12, adolescence, ages 12 to 18, and the transition to adulthood, ages 18 to 24. In order to support optimal learning, mixed-age classrooms prepared for these early stages of development are a key component of Montessori education. The Montessori method focuses on following the child, fostering her sense of independence through freedom within limits, and offering periods of sustained, uninterrupted work. Montessori developed a special self-correcting learning materials designed to facilitate children's exploration and mastery of lessons. Montessori believed children learn best at their own pace and stressed the importance of the educator's role in preparing the classroom environment and observing and guiding the children in their own learning.
Her whole methodology was based on children's development, right? From zero, the growth of the child from zero to adulthood. The development not just of the brain, but of the human potential. She felt that we were all little embryos that were sitting there waiting, and with the right amount of nurturing, we could expand and grow and be successful. So she divided her whole human potential into these categories, into these 4 planes of development, as she called them. So all the learning that takes place, all the environment we spend so much money on creating, is to serve the needs of these children from ages 6 to 12, or 0 to 6, or 12 to 18. So it meets what they need, their characteristics, their need to be with peer groups, for example, or in this environment, which is 6 to 12, their need for movement, they need to make independent choices, they need to develop self-regulation, their development of huge understanding of the universe. So cosmic education is a really big deal in elementary. So it serves all of those needs, and that's what makes this education so very unique.
Maria Montessori transformed the role of the teacher from lecturer to observer and guide. She was committed to educating children from all backgrounds.
And our curriculum is based on being there for the child to make sure that they see and understand their world.
My original place where I found teaching joy was in a private school, and I could see the growth and development of children making huge leaps in successes, and I really felt that it was expensive. People were paying $10,000 and $15,000, but why was it only available to a select few who could afford it? So it's so important that this method, which is known to be so successful, which we can see is bringing so much joy and learning to children, not be made available to more in the public sector. So I'm excited to see more schools grow. I'm excited to be in a public Montessori school, and I hope we have more of them down the pike.
Many highly successful people have attended Montessori schools, including author Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the founders of Google, Amazon, and Facebook, singer Beyoncé, athlete Steph Curry, musician Yo-Yo Ma, and many others.
Well, they will all tell you that their Montessori education did contribute to their success, and they will all say that it gave them a place where the answers were not always obvious, that they had to look for the answers, and that there wasn't always one right answer. And that's what, especially Seth Curry, that's what he came away saying. I learned that there were so many different ways to look at everything, and I learned to get along with my peers. And, the founders of Google, they would say also that think outside the box.
I would like to scream it from the mountaintops that is more relevant than ever today.
Ultimately, Maria Montessori broke many barriers, and her impact on education has been far-reaching and long-lasting.